Jedi Master Yaddle was the only other known member of Yoda's species that served during the Jedi Order during the Clone Wars conflict. Yaddle was significantly younger than Yoda, being around 400 years old at the time of the Phantom Menace, approximately half of Yoda's age. Although not being anywhere nearly as combatively brilliant as Grandmaster Yoda, Yaddle was still a force to be reckoned with, and I do have a full video planned on exactly how powerful Yaddle was, especially compared to Yoda. Today though, I wanted to focus on one aspect of Yaddle that is very rare. In fact, Yaddle is the only Force user to ever use this ability, an ability that was forbidden by the Jedi Order, and the Jedi Council deemed Yaddle the only worthy practitioner of this Force ability. A Force ability so dangerous that not even Jedi Knights could use it, let alone Padawans, and all Jedi Masters, except for of course Yaddle, were forbidden to use the ability. Yaddle's exposure to the little known aspects of the Force granted her powers rarely used by the Jedi, including the ancient and forbidden Jedi combat art of Mori Cho, a technique which enabled the user to rapidly slow down the bodily function of its targets to the point of death or near death. Mori Cho was a powerful but potentially dangerous technique of the Force, which could slow down the body functions of another being into mid-catatonia or long-term suspended animation. Although a few Jedi Masters practiced this as a forbidden classified ability, it was considered off-limits for Jedi Knights without exceptions. Of course, obviously Jedi Masters, especially Jedi High Council members, able to practice with the ability, although Yaddle was the only one to truly master and use it. The only chief practitioner in fact was Jedi Master Yaddle. Similar to Force Trance, Mori Cho suspended biological functions, including breathing as well as heart rate. A trained Mori Cho user could turn the technique upon himself, surviving without food, water, or even air for periods of over a year at a time. Though it would not protect against the vacuum of space, but unlike a Force Trance, it could also be turned on others, making it an effective way of subduing enemies. However, failure to monitor a targeted opponent could render them permanently unconscious, or cause them to die of dehydration or starvation. Despite its deadly potential, Mori Cho was not practiced by those who used the dark side of the Force, as it required a mastery of a less malicious use of the Force than most Darksiders traditionally employed. Mori Cho was a Force ability practiced by the ancient Jedi Order during the First Great Schism. Jedi Master Pina used the technique against Ardrin Lyn, killing her, until she was resurrected by the same power. 5,000 years before the events of the first Star Wars, use and training of Mori Cho was left unchecked. But the Jedi Council, wary of its potential for abuse, classified it as a forbidden ability, and banned its teachings to all but a select few by 1000 BBY. Before long, the Force ability became forgotten to most Jedi, and its mention became scarce, if hardly at all throughout the Order. In the last centuries of the old Jedi Order, however, the Jedi Master Yaddle uncovered the ancient technique after apparently scanning through the holocrons that barely contained any information on the power, being fascinated with ancient Jedi teachings. While the Jedi High Council allowed her to teach some students on Mori Cho, they ultimately prohibited its use and abuse of the technique, as it could easily prove to be fatal. During the Clone Wars, Jedi healers used Mori Cho to destroy stone mites on Kishi. Duran used Mori Cho when he saved himself from the destruction of the Sun Crusher, after stuffing himself inside a messenger pod as the only means of escape. He was rescued by Han Solo, Lando Calrissian, and Mara Jade. Han thought that Kaipo entered into a form of Jedi meditation, but Mara Jade corrected him, saying that Kaipo had survived by slowing his bodily functions to the point of near stasis. With Mori Cho though, there was a great risk that an untrained user may go too far and accidentally stop a heart from beating, including their own heart. This is what Yaddle herself had to say about Mori Cho. A Force technique it is, the body functions of targets. It rapidly slows. Most effective for subduing opponents this is. Yet dangerous too, constantly monitored a target must be. Fail to reverse the process should the Jedi. Indefinite the unconsciousness can be. Die of dehydration or starvation can an unintended target. Realizing this, the ancient Jedi did. Much research in history have I done. Known to use this technique, dark side Force users are not. Not malevolent is Mori Cho. To master Mori Cho, less malevolent users of the Force must a student master first. But that was the forbidden Force ability known as Mori Cho, only used by Jedi Master Yaddle during the Clone Wars conflict, or at least during her era, as again there were other Jedi that used Force abilities similar to this, but not quite the same. Mori Cho is one of those really interesting Force abilities in my own opinion, because it's a forbidden ability that is light side oriented, as it could potentially prove to be dangerous if one practiced it incorrectly, making it very unique, as again it's not dark side in nature at all, and yet is still forbidden. It's also really interesting to me because it was a Force ability that was lost for a large amount of time, but was essentially rediscovered by Yaddle. Anyway, my friends, had you heard of this forbidden Force ability before this video? And what are your thoughts on the power of Mori Cho? Okay, my friends, may the Force be with you, and have a great day.